What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, I want to talk about Warner Brothers for a second because they have been on a little bit of a roller coaster as of late. They had enormous success with Harry Potter and not enormous success, horrible success with the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. So, what they have decided in their infinite wisdom is that they want to make live service games. Games as a service. GAAS games as opposed to one and done single player games. Now, Harry Potter, I will argue that, yes, it is the IP that pretty much made that game a success. And the fact that it was kind of a single player type of a story, type of also made it a success. But trying to shoehorn Harry Potter into a live service game may not be the best look. Now, I mean, look, we could look at the industry. I mean, a wise man would look at the industry as a whole, past and present, and see the mistakes of the past and try to avoid any future mistakes. You know, looking at trends, looking at all these things, what happened, what could happen, blah, 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 right? They look at what Sony was doing and they realize that just making a popular or a successful franchise into a live service game may not be the best idea because sometimes it doesn't translate, right? For example, The Last of Us Online or The Last of Us Factions or whatever the hell they were going to call it. And so I'm going to use that as the specific example as to why not to do this. Why not do this? What they should do is make a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy 2, you could bring your character over from the first game or make a new character, set it 10 years after the first game, which was set, it was like 100 years before. I don't even remember. It was set way, way in the past. And so I'm like, just do that. It makes, that people liked that. They want more Harry Potter. Do that by forcing live service, games as a service, live, that's not gonna, I don't see how that's gonna work. This is not like Apex Legends. This is not a battle royale game, unless they do a Harry Potter battle royale. That's different. That might work. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, the only games that work like that are not even Destiny works on that level anymore. They done messed up. So now it's like, what games are games as a service work? And when I say that, I mean, what type of games? Destiny is not a battle royale. It's a gun looter shooter, basically, right? And so the hook is just getting better guns and getting better armor and stuff, and just doing the same thing over and over again. Nobody wants to do that. There's something to be said about making it a good game that people want to play, right? Let's start there. Let's not just say, oh, we're going to dip into the genre because it makes us the most money. That's kind of the wrong way to look at video games. You have to have a good idea. Now, you could say, okay, we want to make a games of service game. How do we make a games of service game that people will want to play? Not, let's take Harry Potter and make a games of service game. You're not telling me anything. Like for instance, imagine this. Here's the question. How would you make Hogwarts Legacy, that first game, a games as a service game? How would you do it? besides going to the magic shop and buying different wands, different skins for your wands, or different clothes, different colors or whatever for your school. Well, you can't do that. You can't change the house colors, right? Different outfits, I would say, probably one of the things you can do. Maybe you can buy different trolls, a different Dobby or something. I don't know. Who knows what the monetization would be, but it still doesn't feel natural. You know, this is Harry Potter. This isn't freaking Apex Legends. This is a well-established IP and universe. The world has been created. It exists on many different levels. And so, I don't know. I mean, I would say what could work is if they can do a Hogwarts game that kind of melds in the Newt Scamander stuff. Because I think that stuff was interesting, but the magic, not the literal magic in the game, in the universe, but the actual magic of what made Harry Potter cool and alluring to people was that it was like high school. It was kids. You were going through the years. You were watching them grow up. And I think they need to use that same formula for, you know, you can still be like, okay, Newt Scamander is in your class or something, and you go off and do some animal adventures or something, do a little Pokemon Snap type of game or something. I don't know. Look, I got mad ideas, but developers have better ideas than I do, okay? They get paid the big bucks for that. And it's 100 million. I mean, maybe that's what it is. You like, okay, games as a service. You buy a cool camera and you could capture better creatures. You could capture better magnificent beasts or something. I don't know, man. Look, like I said before, I said Sony was creatively bankrupt. They are. And now I'm starting to believe that Warner Brothers might be too. Because honestly, what's the last original IP that Warner Brothers spit up? I'm talking about the video game portion of Warner Brothers. Have they ever made an original IP other than the IPs that they own? You know, freaking, you know, the Batmans and the Harry Potters and all that stuff. Besides that, I mean, I understand the value in that stuff and utilizing that stuff, sure. But these studios are talented. Like the Rocksteady, who made Suicide Squad, I would say, look, Rocksteady can make a good game. Give them freedom to make an original IP, and let's see what happens. It would probably be crazy nice. But do they want to do that, or are they the type of studio that needs to lean on an IP in order for it to be good? Meaning, Batman was good because Batman's good, and they're a competent studio who can make good games. Suicide Squad was good, but it wasn't popular because the IP isn't popular, not like Batman. Hogwarts Legacy, even though they didn't make that, was good. It was a good game, and the IP is super beloved. So it was way more successful than anything else because the IP strength. So think about what Warner Brothers has and what can they do to you know, what IP in their whole roster could they pull and give to, well, see, that's a bad idea because, like, yeah, give it to Rocksteady, but, you know, I don't know, man. I think maybe Warner Brothers needs to possibly go off, or maybe they need to go into their darker stuff, like a Lobo or something like an IP that nobody really knows. Like when Marvel made Iron Man, right? Iron Man was like a B tier. Nobody cared about Iron Man. I'm being generous. Iron Man was a C tier. Iron Man was like, who cares about this alcoholic fool who's a rich boy? Nobody cared. Nobody cared about Iron Man until Robert Downey Jr. put on the jorts and became Iron Man. And now everybody loves Iron Man. Iron Man got elevated. I was about to say elevated. Iron Man got elevated to a higher tier based off of Robert Downey Jr.'s performance and the Marvel movies. You know, the character, the IP, the worth of the IP went up because of the movies. So, I mean, Harry Potter is Harry Potter. You know, Fantastic Beasts is not as popular. You know, maybe if, like, here's the thing. If if J.K. Rowling sold, I know she won't do this, but I would say if she sold the rights to Harry Potter to someone else, someone bought the rights off of her, they got some new writers, blah, 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 she's not connected to it anymore, I would think that Harry Potter would probably have a resurgence, probably have some more people that are like into it, given that that what they produce is good stuff, meaning, of course, they're gonna make new movies and all this, but given that all that stuff is cool, it could have a resurgence. But like I said, thinking about all the other, Warner Brothers, I mean, look, just like the DC stuff, when are they going to make a Superman game? I mean, Injustice, the fighting game is cool, whatever, but it's a fighting game. It's kind of limited, right? I'm talking about maybe a single player game with a nice story and all those things. And the thing is like, with DC and with all these IPs, the only way to make a multiplayer type of game is to have like a fighting game, or is to have maybe a superhero battle royale. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe it's DC battle royale, BR, and you pick your hero. I mean, that's kind of like DC Universe Online, right? Well, maybe it's DC Universe battle royale, right? You could create your own character, or you can use the stock character, and it would be cool if it doesn't matter. Everybody can be all Supermans battle royale. Let's go and see what happens. Stuff like that is interesting because, yeah, sure, it breaks the lore and the laws of the universe, but at the same time, we talking about fun. We talking about, I played a game with 100 Supermans. I played a game with 100 Batmans. And it was crazy, son. It was old school Batman. It was the new school Batman. It was Michael Keaton Batman. All the different variations. It's like a Bativerse in the battle royale. Doesn't that sound like fun? Whatever. Free ideas. Take them, Warner Brothers, because y'all don't know what y'all just. I understand it because it's business, right? So they're like, Harry Potter made money. Games and Service made money. Let's smash them together. Make money. And I throw my hands up and I'm like, all right, good luck. I mean, I don't know what that looks like, but I can't conceive it in my little brain. So I would say make a battle royale based off your superheroes, and just have fun. Break the rules, because a lot of the games that are successful break rules. Like Halo is successful mainly because of the physics in Halo, and that's one part of it, and the shooting, and all the snappiness and stuff. But a lot of it is physics. A lot of it is how the physics works, how you grenade jump, launch yourself up, and it's all kind of things and tricks that people figure out. And that's why a lot of games that have that quality are popular, successful, and fun to play, because you can even look at Just Cause. It's the same thing with the grapple hook and the tethering the things together and doing all kind of crazy stuff, all kind of physics-y stuffs. A lot of people like that. And I'm looking at Suicide Squad and I'm like, it looks cool. I mean, the animations are cool. It definitely looks better than like the Batman game as far as like how they fight and stuff. But it's not all about looks. And a lot of it is just like canned animations. And I mean, excuse me. Like I said, it looks good, but it's not doing anything. It's not giving you like those moments that are just, that just happen, dynamic moments that happen because of physics. Because he's like, I was driving a Batmobile and I jumped over this building, and then the Joker hit me with a rocket on the side, and then my Batmobile flipped and twisted 29 times and landed on the side of this other building, and then I used the grapple hook off the Batmobile, and I said, Choo, and then I drove up the building like in that other what Batman movie was that? Was that Batman and Robin, I think? Oh, that was Batman, that was Batman 2. Wow, that was, why am I forgetting the name of the second Batman movie? Okay, Batman 89, and then Batman Returns, there you go. Wow. So, like what I just described sounds like fun. It sounds like, wow, that's what happened in your game? Well, let me tell you what happened I was in the Batwing, right? And then I flew through these buildings, but my Batwing clipped one of the buildings and it started spinning and spinning and spinning. I was like, oh, I'm finna die. And then I pressed the eject button and I flew out. And then I was gliding, and then I pressed the button for the Bat Chopper, and the Bat Helicopter Chopper, the Bat Chopper came and scooped me up, Well, it was up in the sky, and I did a grapple hook to the back cop, and I started flying that around. And then the Joker came out again and hit me with a rocket, and then I crashed. But before I crashed, I jumped out again and started flying again. You know, look, you can go on and on and on about like if you have dynamic systems and stuff in your game like that. That's what's up. That's the fun of all these crazy games. Even Fortnite has them, like the build, not like the well. I think the regular just to kill everybody Fortnite is something with the rockets, right? You could ride the rockets or something. I don't know. I haven't I haven't played Fortnite in years, so whatever. But there's something to be said about fun in games, and there is a formula there, and it seems like Warner Brothers doesn't quite understand that. A lot of game companies don't quite understand it. There are a few out there that do, and those games people are playing those games. They're constantly playing those games, and they're playing them for years. And whatever, I mean, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. Some studios aren't built like that, if that makes sense. So, you know, it's like the Sony studios. They only make one type of game. They have like, there's no physics. I mean, there obviously are physics in their games, but they aren't to the level of like Rocket League, Fortnite, Halo. You know, they don't make games like that. And so think about like, okay, what's the funnest game you ever played? You know, even going back to Atari 2600, right? Which is really bad. It's hard to go back to. I was playing Warlords. I used to play Warlords with my cousin all the time. It would be me, my cousin, and my brother, right? We play Warlords, and then there would be one that was, I guess, CPU or whatever. And as Atari 2600, hot trash garbage as it is, that game was super fun. That game was fun because of the physics of the, I was gonna say ball, but it's really like a square. It's not even a pixel. I don't even know how, I cannot wrap my brain around how the Atari 2600 displayed images on the screen, because it is not like what is like the NES and the Sega Master System. It's totally different. It has something to do with the lines drawn and the CRTs. I was like, huh? Wait, I don't quite never mind. Don't explain it to me, because I don't even want to know, because I'm confused. But anyway, that was fun because of physics. So you can go back, way back. And if you think about all your favorite games, a lot of the times if the physics was right, you know, the game speed, character speed, all these things. That's why a lot of the times like shooters were fun. Like I'm talking about shoot 'em up shooters, spaceship shooters. You know, everyone has their preference, vertical versus horizontal, Osmo or horizontal. You know, Thunder Force, you know what I'm saying? Thunder Force 2, even though that was both. But the music was real good. So second stage, so good. Thunder Force 3 was good too. Thunder Force 4, I mean, the music started getting I think they switched composers at one point, but I think Thunder Force 3 has better music than, I'm gonna say there's one track in Thunder Force 2, the second stage, and then Thunder Force 3, I forgot what stage that was, but you can select stages too. But anyway, it's when you're fighting that giant ship. That's a pretty dope. But Herzog Zwei, that one has some really good music. There's a couple of tracks on there too that's really good. Mournful War, is that I think that's the one that I really, really liked. Anyway, and one thing about Herzog Zwei is that the cool thing about that game is that you can access the sound test right from the start menu. Like you start and then it's there, and I'm like, shoot, that's what's up. And I wouldn't usually play it. I'd be like, let's put it on a sound test, listen to this thing for about a half an hour, let's go. But anyway, that's just me and music, you know how that goes. But anyway, tangent, the physics. You know, I can't emphasize how important that is in a game, period, regardless of the time period of when the game came out, regardless of, you know, new, old, the complexity of the game. It's very important, and like I said, pay attention to the games that are successful. Why is it successful? Hogwarts Legacy successful because of the IP. Okay, and the game is good too. I'm not, you know, we can't front, the game's good too. Suicide Squad, not so much. IP is meh. Could have been good if the game was super dope, fly, whatever, but imagine if that was a Batman game. And, well, imagine, see, I can't even say that, because that's what like kind of Gotham Knights was, right? And that wasn't all that either. So the IP is super important, but you know, there's a combination of things. Like you look at Power World, right? Power World is successful because it leaned heavily on the notion that it was Pokemon with guns when it really isn't Pokemon with guns, but it kind of is, but it's not really. There's a few Pokemon elements, but the core of the game is not Pokemon. It's Rust. It's Conan, Exiles. Is that what it's called? It's a tree puncher basically, and you just enslave Pokemon or pals, excuse me, to build your stuff, which is ingenious. So it kind of hits that Pokemon trigger, if you will, or nostalgia sensor, because Pokemon's pretty old at this point. And so it does a few things that work, and you know, it's a very smart move. And the thing about the industry, which I kind of hate, is that now the PAL world is such a success, I will guarantee you, that there will gonna be try to be clones. I mean, look, Square Enix already cloned Splatoon with Foam Stars, and Foam Stars is DOA. It was DOA, and it's missing in action. Foam Stars is on a milk carton, son. It's like, yo, who's talking about Foam? Nobody's talking about Foam Stars. Did Foam Stars come out a week before Helldivers 2? Helldivers 2 smacked Foam Stars into another dimension, never to be seen again. And I mean, at least they got one game that's all right, but that's not good for Square Enix, because they like to be like, yeah, our game's gonna be super successful, and they never meet their goals. So I will guarantee you that Foam Star didn't meet their expectations. I don't even know. I mean, I know that Helldivers 2 didn't meet the expectations of whatever they're called. I can't remember the studio who made it. But not every game's gonna be like that. And also what matters and what is very important that people aren't realizing is that, sure, you can have a hit, but the longevity of that, the consistency of players is important, right? So if Helldiver 2 is bam, 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 it's all dope, right? And then another game comes out next week and just destroys it. Everybody's playing that. Everybody stopped playing Helldivers. Guess what? Helldivers, while it was a flash in the pan, a one-hit wonder, if you will, you need that sustained player count. You need that sustained zeitgeist. And if you don't have that for years and years and years, that model, that games of service model, does not work. It doesn't work for like how the single player one and dones work. Like, oh, it's boom, it's successful, sells 10 million, and it goes down, doesn't sell anymore, whatever. Then you put out a sequel. That's not how games of service work. Games of service is evergreen, or it's supposed to be evergreen. And if Helldivers doesn't maintain the numbers, then it will be somewhat of a failure. You know, not a complete failure, but if they can't keep it up, then that's the one super important part of the GAAS model. And these ponies and donkey unicorns don't realize that, and they are not equipped and they are not ready to support games like that, because they never have been. They play Call of Duty, they play games that Sony doesn't make. They play Apex Legends, they play Pal World on PC. They play games that Sony doesn't make. And when Sony makes a game like that, is it? We'll see if it can maintain. Hopefully for the studio it can, but yeah, we'll see. Only time will tell with that. And any other game that they tried to make. Why is that? Why Factions was canceled? Because long term it wasn't gonna work. Like, what you gonna do for 6 months out? What you gonna do 2 years later? They were like, more hats. It's like, you better do something. If you want this game as a service, live service game, you got to keep feeding. You got to keep feeding it. And a lot of companies, especially Sony, they're not equipped to do that. But anyway, rambling. Excuse me. I get a little tickle. Appreciate y'all hanging out, like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comments below. What do you think about games of service? What do you think about Sony's attempt to do the games of service? And this whole Warner Brothers just trying to do what Sony has failed to do for many, many years, and still hasn't. I'm still not convinced that Sony has done it. They paid a studio to do it. which is not the same. So once like Naughty Dog or once Guerrilla, once one of their studios does it, then I'm gonna be like, all right. Or once a studio that they create from the ground up does it, then I'm gonna be like, okay, here we go, let's go. But they haven't done that yet. They have not been successful in doing that. They've closed many studios that could have aided and helped in creating that game. So it seems like everything's going wrong over at Sony, and they're making the wrong moves in order to save money and make the books look right. And I've heard Jeff Grubb say this. I've heard, I think Jez said it as well. And it's kind of true. You know, I agree with them in that respect. And that's not, I mean, look, that's the whole business side. That's the whole Jim Ryan side of this whole industry. It's in the long term, it's not going to help them. You know, you got to spend money to make money. They're not concerned with. They don't want to spend money. They just want to make money as easy, as simply, as quickly as possible. And so what does that mean? Fire some people, cancel some games, close some studios, because it's money they're bleeding, money they're wasting. It's a little frustrating. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what y'all think about all these GAAS games and Warner Brothers tripping, Harry Potter GAAS, and all those things. I appreciate y'all hanging out for real. And I'll catch you on the next one. 2, 3, wait.